Represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to move that the Senate receives the report of the Committee on National Identity Card and National Population to receive and consider the report of the Committee on National Identity Card and National Population on the National Identity Management Commission Repeal and Enactment Bill 2024, SB 472. The correction should be made is SB 472, 2024, or 2025, Senate Leader. It's a mistake by the Rules and Business Committee. Mr. President, with your kind permission, may I lay the report and the bill for consideration. This is a report of the bill for an act to repeal the National Identity Management Commission Act 2007 and to provide for the establishment of a National Identity Database and the National Identity Management Commission, charged with responsibilities for maintenance of national database, the registration of individuals, and the issuance of identity credentials, and for related matters, SB 472. The Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, at its sitting on Tuesday, 2nd July 2024, read for the second time the bill for an act to repeal the National Identity Management Commission Act 2007 and to provide for the establishment of National Identity Database and the National Identity Management Commission, charged with the responsibilities for maintenance of national database, the registration of individuals, and the issuance of identity credentials, and for related matters, SB 472. And the same bill was referred to the Committee on National Identity Cards and Population for further legislative action. The bill was sponsored by distinguished Senator Jibrin Barau, and it seeks to establish the National Identity Management Commission to manage the country's national identity management system, mandate the creation of national identity database to store citizens' biometric and demographic data, make it compulsory for all citizens to register for purposes including government services, financial transactions, and so on and so forth, provided for protection of citizens' personal data and privacy, empower NIMC to issue regulations and guidelines for the implementation of the Act, and for other related matters. The committee held a public hearing on Wednesday, the 23rd of July, 2024, in order to get views and opinions of stakeholders and the general public. It collected memoranda from the general public and consulted with legal drafting experts. 17 stakeholders appeared before the committee during the public hearing. The objectives of the bill are as follows: to provide for the establishment of national identity database for the nation, establish the National Identity Management Commission, charged with responsibility for maintenance of the national identity database, registration of registrable persons, issuance of identity credentials, and superintend over identities management issues. To strengthen the legal framework of national and digital identity, thereby creating an optimal foundational identification ecosystem that fosters inclusion, universal coverage, and accessibility. Establish a harmonious foundational identity system that is governed by a less restrictive, less cumbersome, non-discriminatory, non-punitive data protection, cost-effective, and compliance with global best practices. The bill, when passed into law, will address the challenges and limitations of National Identity Management Commission Act 2007. Repeal it, and then close the gap of incomplete and inaccurate national identity database, provide efficient governance and service delivery. Distinguished senators, the bill received overwhelming support from stakeholders at the public hearing due to the need to implement the long-awaited database system. The committee at its meeting had a clause-by-clause consideration of the bill and came up with the recommendations here.
And recommended as follows.
Recommended as follows, yes. The committee hereby recommends that a bill for an act to repeal the National Identity Management Commission Act 2007 and to provide for the establishment of a national identity database and a National Identity Management Commission charged with the responsibilities for maintenance of national database, the registration of individuals, and the issuance of identity credentials, and for related matters 2024 SB 417 to be passed. The bill consists of 41 clauses, schedule, a short title and explanatory memorandum. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the committee urges you to give the bill as rated passage that it deserves. Its passage into law, as evidenced in the wide support it received at the public hearing. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the committee would like to thank the President of the Senate, the Deputy President of the Senate, Senate leadership, and all distinguished colleagues for the opportunity given to us to serve in this capacity. I so present, Mr. President.
Thank you. The Leader of the Senate. Okay, the Leader. You may wish to move a motion for us to resolve into Committee of the Whole. We're going to close by clause.
Mr. President, I stand to move a motion that we revert to Committee of Whole to consider the report.
Minority Leader.
I seek your leave and the leave of the Senate to call attention to a few amendments or proposed insertions in this new bill that conflict with some existing laws and will also give NIMC mandates that they do not have. And I refer here to page 6, subsection clause 7 of the bill that says the root, part of the new suggestion that NIMC will have the authority to be root certification authority and issuing authority responsible for the national public key infrastructure. NIMC is an end user of technology. NIMC cannot be a certification authority. This is mandate that is clearly within the mandate of such organizations as National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA. In the same vein, if you also go to page 7, clause 8, it also says under subclause F and G. So, Mr. President, sitting as chair, I am moving a motion that all those new additional clauses that didn't come with the original section, clause 7J on page 6 and clause 8, subclause F and G on page 7. Mr. President, sitting as chair, I so move that these two of them, clause 7, subsection J and clause 8, subsections F and G, should be expunged from this bill. I so move, sir.
President, I rise to second the motion that clause 7J in page 6 of this bill and clauses 8F and G of this bill be dropped from the bill. I so second.
Identity card and population on the National Identity Management Commission Repeal and Re-enactment Bill 2025 and approve as follows. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses 1 to 39 as recommended. Clause 6 as recommended. Clauses 7 and 8 as amended. Clauses 9 to 39 as recommended. Interpretation clause now 40 as recommended. Short title as recommended. Schedule as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate, may wish to move that we proceed to read the third reading. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to repeal the National Identity Management Commission Act number 23, 2007, to establish the National Identity Database and the National Identity Management Commission, charged with the responsibilities of maintaining the National Identity Database, registration of individuals, and issuance of identity credentials, and for related matters, 2025. Third reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to repeal the National Identity Management Commission Act, number 23, 2007, to establish the National Identity Database and the National Identity Management Commission, charged with the responsibilities of maintaining the National Identity Database and registration of individuals and issuance of identity credentials, and for related matters, 2025, third reading taken and passed. Let me thank the chairman and members of the Senate Committee on the National Identity and National Population for a wonderful job done, and thank my colleagues for their contributions, and particularly thank my brother SARS for the observation to ensure that this bill, when assented into an act of parliament by Mr. President, will not conflict with any other extant laws of the land. So I thank all of you, and I do know that the Senate will continue to remain proactive. So it's now the job of the Senate leader to ensure that what we have passed here is in conformity with what has been passed by the House of Representatives, and in the effect that there is any differential, we go into the usual conference committee to resolve the differences. So I thank all of you, and I pray that this bill will ensure that we have proper record and proper data to plan not just for the current generation, but for future generations of Nigerians. Thank you. Leader of the Senate.